Today I am going to steal this car in under 1 minute. That is how easy it is for the thieves to steal your car. Today I'm going to show you how they do it and how you can stop your precious car from being stolen. Car thefts in the UK have increased dramatically, which is affecting each and every one of us. That's from some of us losing cars, but all of us seeing insurance premium increases. And there is one car which seems to be an easy target for these thieves.
It's called a Range Rover.
In fact, in 2022, a huge 5,533 Range Rovers were stolen in the UK. These luxury vehicles are valuable, desirable, but even more importantly, vulnerable. They're an easy target due to the incredible technology lengths the thieves are going to. This has led to two nightmare situations. The car's value are plummeting and the insurance premiums, they are rocketing. It seems whatever Range Rover try, they are struggling to outsmart the organised crime gangs. These are dangerous people with lots to gain and nothing to lose. The method we showed at the start of the video is called relay theft. It's very common and extremely easy to carry out. I stood close to Reese's house with a booster to extend the range of the keyless entry key. And in seconds we were in the car. It was simple to use, which was very alarming. And before you report me to the police, this is my mum's car and we obviously had her permission. Sort of. So we arranged to meet a real life car thief who will show some more technical ways to gain access into nearly any car. And they don't even need a key. This is proper stressful. We are meeting a man who steals for a living. This is his job. The equipment he has got is state of the art and I've heard stories of what this stuff can do, and we are going to get to see that live today. And the levels of the stuff he can steal is frightening for everybody. This is really difficult for us, but we have had to hide the thief's identity, and that's simply because he's agreed to show us everything, and this will help us and the police to combat this epidemic. We have arranged this perfect desirable car to demonstrate. You will be horrified what is about to happen. So in front of us now we have a 19 plate Range Rover SVR. Now I knew that was about 115,000 pounds, and our robber, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay.
How long have you been doing this?
I'd rather not say.
Okay. Just roughly, sort of how many cars do you reckon you've taken?
I don't want to answer that.
After some awkward small talk, I realised this guy meant serious business. We're tracking this Range Rover SVR now. Would that be a car which is difficult to steal?
No, one of the easiest.
It's just mental. So he has no idea now that we're behind him, we're tracking him. So we're going to pull into Tesco's now. They're going to pull up, lock the car and walk into Tesco's, and then we're going to have their car.
We're having the car?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is ridiculous.
This is a perfect location because you know they're going to be gone for the minimum 20 minutes usually.
Of course, yeah.
So this is why most of these thefts take place in these kind of environments.
Because they're not coming back in.
No, because you know they're not coming back.
As soon as we saw the occupants of the SVR leave, we pulled up as close as we could to the car, and the thief begins step one.
The equipment I got will actually send a request signal to the keyless vehicle module, and that will then open the vehicle, yeah? So basically, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
So this isn't even copying the key?
No, this is not copying the key. This is just the device we got is just purely communicating with the vehicle.
And to my amazement, in under 20 seconds, he had unlocked the car.
That's it. Breaking note. That's it.
We have now opened that car without a key, without smashing a window. That is now, the alarm going to go off?
No, it won't go off now.
So yeah, so right now that car thinks it's been opened legitimately.
Absolutely.
Step 2 was getting the engine started. Like I should be ballied up.
So, got entry to the vehicle. You're going to plug it into the OBD port, which is right underneath the dash there, easily accessible, yeah. Give me 2 seconds. Check so right. So, hopefully, yeah. And that's it. Less than 30 seconds, yeah, and we're in.
That is unbelievable. Remember, this wasn't relay theft. The key was nowhere near. We didn't cut a hole in the boot. We didn't smash a window. We had penetrated it and stepped into that car in absolute silence. I was mind blown to see how this is and how vulnerable we all are.
We now quickly go to a quiet location, somewhere isolated, and then we'd remove the unit so the vehicle can't be traced or tracked as being shown as being stolen.
So then we've got as much time as we want after that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
No way. This is, I've got goosebumps.
How is it that easy?
We literally have control of this car.
And how much is this one worth?
I think he said it's like 60 grand retail right now because it's a 19 plate. So we're driving off in £60,000 worth. No alarm going, no broken. We haven't even damaged the car. We have the car in one perfect piece. Like literally, if we clone the plates with another car which is similar, which is on the MID, we could drive around in this car forever and nobody would know. I'm worried, I'm proper worried for all of us. How do we stop this? It's safe to say that we were absolutely mind blown. The scary thing is, I always thought you had to boost the key. I thought you needed sort of like, you know, the transmitter, you needed the original key and then it got shared to there, but we've just shown that you don't need that. Like you literally need this thing which he's got, buy the car, gain access, and then was the same thing, with straight into the OBD port and the car's ours. Like this is proper scary stuff. This is like, this was shockingly easy for him and he was not fazed or bothered at all. But I wanted to ask him how much further he could take this. So you could take that?
Yeah, absolutely.
That?
Yeah.
So what car in this car park can't you have?
There's nothing we can't take. If we want it, we're taking it. Yeah, that's easy. That's the new vehicle.
So this keyless entry thing just changes everything?
Yeah, it just makes our job a lot easier because it's a lot quicker. With the equipment we got, it's just so easy.
So the way this technology works is it uses the keyless entry feature on the car. It's where your key emits a constant signal, and when you get close to the car, it unlocks automatically. This is a nice gimmick feature designed to make the consumer's life easier. But in fact, it's made the organised crime gang's life much easier. But the question that I want answering is, can anyone get hold of this equipment and how expensive is it? So Dips is a professional locksmith, so this is the proper pucker equipment.
Yeah, so this is proper legit equipment. It's fully registered and everything as well. And with this equipment, I've had to have background checks done and all the rest of it as well. But there is a company out there, a company called that are selling it to anyone.
No background checks?
No background checks. You could be Joe Blogs off the street.
And how much is that?
It's about 15 grand.
So 15k is all it costs to be able to steal nearly any car. It's the latest technology equipment and it's currently available on the dark web for anyone to buy. And that purchase is legal, which is scary. To protect against one of these devices, one easy option is to turn the keyless entry feature off. My mum's car is easy to do. We actually did it ourselves, but I would highly recommend contacting your local dealer and getting it done. Dips is using one of the old-fashioned lockpick tool, which means he can get into any car. When you're buying a car, there is a possibility it has been previously stolen, and the best way to check against this is by using today's video sponsor, Car Vertical. Let's see if Dips can steal this car faster than we can do a Car Vertical check. All you need to do is type in your reg and you'll receive loads of information on the car you're looking at. And as you can see on my mum's car, it's completely clean, all green lights.
There we go, another one done. I could literally plug into the OBD port, code a new key in, and again be out of here in about a minute and a half again.
That is absolutely crazy, and something that's even crazier, this other Land Rover on Car Vertical comes up as stolen. It looks completely perfect in the photos, and I can see it's never been damaged. It has no mileage fraud and no outstanding finance, but the fact it's been previously stolen would make the car worth way less money. This is great information to know when considering to buy a car. Disabling that keyless entry has made no difference.
No difference whatsoever.
If you've got the tools and you've got the expertise, you're still getting this car.
Still taking the car and be gone.
If you want to check out your car, a friend's car, or a car you're potentially looking to buy, the link is in the description below, and you can use my code MARK to save yourself some money on that search. And right now, there's some extra discount. So the big question is, how do we stop thieves from stealing our cars in a matter of seconds? Firstly, we have some tips to try and keep our keyless keys safe. A really simple one which is under £10 is the Faraday pouch. Now you put your keys in, you make sure it's done up properly, and that then stops the signal of the keyless entry getting to the car. Remember, this will not totally eradicate the car getting stolen, as we've proven there are even more ways to get access to the inside of the car. Next option is visual deterrence. A steering wheel lock is cheap and easy to use and takes no time at all to fit. And the DVLA special, the good old wheel clamp. Okay. So it looks like you've got to make sure you buy the right one for your car. These can be easy to cut through, but that takes time, but more importantly, lots of noise. These work, but they're not going to totally stop the thieves. But Range Rover has attempted to come up with a solution. Range Rover do have a software update to try and stop keyless entry relay theft. But even with the Range Rover updates, there is still a way to easily steal this car. What chance do we possibly have? Now this is a solution that your car will definitely not get stolen. 24-hour security. And if all else fails, get yourself a trained killer security dog. Kill. All jokes aside, another option is to get a ghost immobiliser. But for me, I'm not the biggest fan, and that's for one reason.
On this one, we start it up. If you don't put the code in, when you put it into gear, it cuts out.
Okay.
So we'll demonstrate putting the code in. So at the minute, it's set as minus. You'll get 2 flashes on the dash.
Right, so you have to put a sequence in the vehicle, and if you don't know that sequence, it's not starting.
Yeah, it's not starting or it's not being driven.
But I do have a concern over this for my family's safety. My worry with a ghost, if they came to my mum's house and they didn't know that sequence, whether they'd take her out of the house and force her to put it in.
That's, it's a chance, when I think about it with my family, but that is extremely rare.
No matter what happens, any risk of my family somehow getting involved with an altercation with these gangs over just a car worries me. It's just not worth it. But what is worrying me is the effect these thieves are having on the car owners. We have heard some horrific stories of theft while researching this video, and this was one of the worst we had. There was a lady who slipped into a supermarket on her way back home. She only left her BMW X5 for a few minutes, but when she came out, the car was gone. But the bigger problem, her dog was inside. So be vigilant, even if you only leave your car for a few minutes. So far, we haven't found a solution to make your car unstealable. But later on in the video, I have found a product which I think is the best option I have come across to keep your pride and joy safe. So far, we have seen lots of brands are vulnerable to the keyless theft. BMW, Mercedes, Peugeot, and the list goes on and on. These new model electronic cars are definitely vulnerable. Are these high-end desirable Range Rovers really worth the risk? We wanted to find out how much it would cost to own one of these cars. And the biggest part of that, the insurance. We put it to the test and I tried to insure this stunning car. It's already been reduced by £7,000 in 3 months, but let's see how hard it is to get this one insured. Compare the Meerkat, let's try and get her insured.
Timples.
Boom. Wow, not a single person will insure me for that car, not one. I am at an age of experience, I have a clean license, I have full no claims, I am a safe bet, but even still, nothing. So we went for a cheaper option, this time a Range Rover Evoque, with a value of only £10,000. Da, da, da. 5 grand, so that's half the price of the car. These crazy insurance prices are massively affecting the value of what these cars are actually worth, simply because many are coming onto the market as people are being forced to sell their cars when they simply can't get a renewal quote. This is a massive issue, so we brought back Lewis, who sold me the GT4RS, to give us his professional opinion.
Mark, you won't believe it. I've actually got customers that want to kill me. The way these cars have dropped is insane. So last year, I was selling so many of the Range Rover SVRs around a 19 and a 20 plate, and I was selling them for around 90,000. Before we knew it, these cars were on the market, and I mean the market absolutely saturated and still dropping. Something like that has dropped around £30,000. So
in 1 year?
In 1 year, yes, yes.
And what makes these problems worse is the people who have these cars on finance.
Some people don't have the money to put the difference in to cover the finance, so a lot of people are stuck with these cars.
So they're backwards on their finance?
Actually backwards on the finance, yes. So the cars have dropped so much in value that has put people in that position.
So let me explain with an example. A £90,000 car over a 3-year deal would be £1,900 a month payment. If after a year I want to get out of the car and settle the finance, they would want £75,000. And there's the problem. Some of these cars are now only worth 60k. So you would need to pay the finance people a lump of 15 grand to get out. And in today's difficult times, that is usually not an option. And even worse, people who are unable to settle the finance can't even drive them, as they can't get insured. So they can't afford to sell it, they definitely can't afford to insure it, and more than likely, it's going to be stolen. Land Rover are very aware of this problem, so they've come up with a product to try and stop their vehicle prices falling. They now have their very own insurance platform. So let's give it a go and see if we can get a more realistic quote. That's Range Rover themselves. They won't even insure me. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How is this so bad? Like, yes, it's Thieves. Yes, they're clever. Yes, they beat the system. But this has been going on for a while now. And why have Range Rover, Land Rover, not done something about this? So Land Rover have attempted to solve the issues with the insurance, and so far that has failed. But have they attempted to solve the original problem? Car theft. We spoke to the JLR security department. Morning.
Morning, Mark.
We're sort of trying to educate our viewers on the main thing is to how to try and keep their cars safe.
We've seen theft rise predominantly in our older group of vehicles. So we're looking to update as many of those vehicles as we can with the latest types of security and the latest software updates that our new cars have. We can get these security updates now back to vehicles that were built in 2016.
This is really interesting for me as my mum's car falls into this obviously vulnerable category.
The way we're countering that is with this BCM update. So that is the update that we're writing out to our clients to say, right, your car is now ready, come on in and get your update and have that done. And what we can say is where a car has been updated, we haven't had a single car that's been stolen through that BCM hack once it's had the software update. So
this is sounding really positive, as this could stop the thieves from the relay hack. So how do you get this update on your Range Rover? Do we have to wait for you? Can we push our slot? Can we ask for somebody to come and do it, or are we waiting for that letter in the post?
So we're absolutely phasing it in because, as you say, we're going after hundreds of thousands of cars to update here. So what we've got to do is really streamline the way that we get that in. So the higher risk clients get their updates the quickest. We know my mum's car qualifies for this all-important update, but so far she hasn't received any letter, despite buying this car from a main dealer 4 years ago. She has heard nothing, and in fact, she has no idea this modification even exists. So, like, if you've got that car, that person can contact their local dealer and say, I have one of these cars. It's definitely a good way to make sure that we've got people's contact details and make sure that when that update is ready for that phase of vehicles, we can get out to that client as quickly as we can.
So from that, it does sound like they've got the solution to the problem. But by the sounds of it, because they've got so many cars to do, unless you are a high-risk client, you might not get it done straight away. And let's face it, by the time some of you have got that update, the thieves may have even found another way around. And thank you to JLR for speaking to us. You didn't just bury your head in the sand, and we did ask some fairly difficult questions. We reached out to police. They're not interested. They didn't want to speak to us, which is really, really frustrating. They're obviously going to have some tips to help this situation, but no comment from them. So even JLR themselves can't fix this problem overnight, and it probably won't ever really be totally fixed. So what can we all do to keep our cars safe? Well, I wish I knew the following earlier on. I myself have experience of these thefts. In 2018, my dad's Mercedes was stolen within 1 minute, without keys, while securely on his drive. But there was a lesson to be learned. When the thieves steal your car, they usually don't leave your drive and take them straight back to their workshop, as many vehicles these days come with a factory-fitted tracker. Thieves steal the cars and drive them a short distance, reducing the time they're in the car, and that reduces the chances of getting caught. After a few days, they return to where the vehicle was parked. If the car is still there, they take it to the secret lair and most likely never to be seen ever again. But if they return and the car is gone, it's most likely had a tracker and the police have gone to the car's location and retrieved it, and hopefully before it's got to the border and headed in a container to Albania. Trackers can really help, and some cars come with standard systems from the manufacturer. These systems usually need you to subscribe, and frustratingly for me, My dad's car had exactly that. It was called the Mercedes Me. It's a system where Mercedes constantly communicate with your vehicle, and my dad didn't want his Mercedes tracked by them, so he opted not to join. But, and a big but, if he had signed up, which was free, it would have given the exact location of the car after the theft. It's really worth looking into your modern car to see if there is a tracker system fitted from factory, and make sure it's turned on and activated. It's usually free and it's simple to do, and it could potentially help you get your car back if it's nicked. If your car hasn't got a tracker, you can get a permanently fitted aftermarket system. This one has a clever fob.
Get in the car, if your fob's in, the vehicle starts.
Fob out the car.
The vehicle will not start.
So how is this different to the Ghost and the potential risk to your family?
There is an option on this where you can start the vehicle once, and then when you turn it off, it won't restart again.
So that would be brilliant, because then the threat of the thieves is away from the house, and when they figure that out, they're miles away from your family.
Exactly this, and you'll also receive a phone call off a tracking company.
But we have an idea which is simpler and an even cheaper option. It's an Apple AirTag. Now, these are from as little as £25 and the battery lasts over a year. So just get one of these, hide it in your car, and nobody will ever know where it is.
Everyone knows where that is now though.
Trackers do seem to be the best hope of getting your car back. It's just maybe the difference of seeing or not seeing your beloved motor ever again. Car theft has been happening for many years, and unfortunately it will be part of our lives for many, many years to come. My advice is don't be a hero. Of course we want to protect our possessions, but it's not worth risking yourselves and your family's lives, especially over really just a piece of metal.